Hello, welcome back to the Breaking News Update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got a huge report coming out from the United States, and we're going to talk about U.S. President Donald Trump and a very big update regarding the war in Ukraine. Check out your screen here. Trump orders a 30-day unconditional ceasefire, threatening sanctions. U.S. President Trump called for a 30-day unconditional ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine and said that both countries will be held accountable for the sanctity of these direct negotiations. So this is a very big report today. I'll show you guys the actual post that Donald Trump put on Truth Social today talking about this. And it looks like he's making his final stand as mediator in these negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. And I told you guys several times over the last week that I had a very big feeling sanctions were going to be coming down at like a banhammer onto Russia if Russia does not agree to these negotiations with Ukraine. As we already know, Ukraine has called for a 30-day unconditional ceasefire multiple times over the last month or longer now. And Russia is not agreeing to that, okay? So it's going to be really up to Russia to make a decision here if they're going to agree to this 30-day ceasefire. If not, the U.S. is going to sanction them very heavily along with European partners. So let's go ahead and show you this information here. We're going to hop on over here to X. I'm going to show you guys this report from Donald Trump, and then I also am going to talk about the phone call that Trump and Zelenskyy had just earlier because I think it ties into this. So from the Kiev Post, Trump calls for a 30-day ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine, threatening sanctions against whoever violates it. Here's a report on Truth Social from Donald J. Trump. Talks with Russia and Ukraine continue. The U.S. calls for ideally a 30-day unconditional ceasefire. Hopefully, an acceptable ceasefire will be observed, and both countries will be held accountable for respecting the sanctity of these direct negotiations. If the ceasefire is not respected, the U.S. and its partners will impose further sanctions. Thousands of young soldiers are dying on a weekly basis, and everybody should want it to stop. I do, and the United States of America does also. As president, I will stay committed to securing peace between Russia and Ukraine, together with the Europeans, and a lasting peace it will be. This ceasefire must ultimately build towards a peace agreement. It can all be done very quickly, and I will be available on a moment's notice if my services are needed. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, so he does not indicate, any kind of deadline or anything like that, but he's calling on Russia, and I know he is, because Ukraine, again, has already stated multiple times they will agree to a 30-day ceasefire with Russia. So now it's really up to Russia to step up to the plate and agree to this. If not, as Trump stated here, he will slam major sanctions onto any party, whether it be Ukraine or Russia, that chooses not to agree to an unconditional 30-day ceasefire. So this is very, very big news. We'll see if this gets this thing moving. Maybe this war will come to an end, or maybe not. But we know Trump really wants to secure this victory and be able to say that he ended this war between Russia and Ukraine before passing the ball on to somebody else. As I reported to you guys earlier today, that possibly Turkey or China could take over. So now I want to show you guys this update here from Volodymyr Zelenskyy, as well as today Zelenskyy and Trump held a phone call probably just about an hour or two before this information that Trump had released on Truth Social came out. So from Volodymyr Zelenskyy on X, I had a good conversation with President of the United States. We congratulated our nations on victory in Europe Day, the victory over Nazism. We welcome the Ukrainian Parliament's ratification of the Economic Partnership Agreement, a truly historic document that opens up many new opportunities for cooperation. We discussed the need for continued efforts to achieve peace, including concrete steps that could be taken. President Trump inquired about the situation on the battlefield, and I provided a brief overview. I also informed him that Ukraine is ready for a 30-day ceasefire, starting even today. We are waiting for Russia to support this proposal. I also reaffirmed that Ukraine is ready to engage in talks in any format. But for that, Russia must demonstrate the seriousness of its intentions to end the war, starting with the full unconditional ceasefire. President Trump confirmed that if he wants to end the war, is ready to help and supports the need for a ceasefire. We agreed on our further contacts. Okay, so it looks like Zelenskyy and Trump are both on the same side here, and they both see that this war needs to come to an end. And it definitely looks to me like Trump is more supportive of Zelenskyy now. We haven't been seeing any negative comments coming out of Trump's mouth regarding Zelenskyy. So, we know that Ukraine, again, is open to a 30-day ceasefire with Russia. They're open to negotiations and talks to end this war. And ultimately, they want this war to end as well. Russia has not said any of that. The most they ever want is a temporary ceasefire like what's going on right now. But at the same time, all it's really doing is just allowing Russia to have their parade. And then soon after, they're going to start attacking Ukraine again. And this war is not going to end. Okay, so I think that this phone call earlier had a lot to do with Trump's statement that came out, especially Trump releasing the statement just hours after speaking to Zelenskyy. But you guys can let me know what you think. We did talk about that earlier in my last video, but just in case you guys didn't see that information on the Trump-Zelenskyy phone call, just wanted to tie that in there because I think there was some planning ahead of time between Ukraine and the United States just prior to Trump releasing that statement. Okay, so let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.